What is flat Earth? Part 2. Existence. The central disagreement between the two cosmologies, flat Earth and globe Earth, is the issue of where you exist. Yes, you exist on Earth, but where's the Earth? And where did that Earth come from? Existence means something out of nothing, or to appear. People come from people, but where does the Earth come from? Now, before you roll your eyes and tell me we come from a cosmic Big Bang, and science has figured this out, I need you to know that assuming one's authority is like you giving them godhood. Your view of the world comes from God, a creator, or your view of the world comes from science. Saying it's science is just like saying it's God. God means creator. Science means whatever you want it to mean. Just add your fancy explanation using fancy complicated words and math, but then we still don't know where we came from. And they call it science. If you say God created the earth, you don't have proof. If you say science created the earth, you're also saying we don't have proof. And you're also assuming that someone figured it out, but we didn't. We don't know where the earth came from. Both are assumptions and take faith. Now, before we assume we know where the earth exists, let's look at the existence. Both worldviews can be turned into a religion. An earth-centered worldview can become about earth worship and paying sacrifices to the earth. A sun-centered worldview can become about sun worship and paying sacrifices to the creation as well. Even believing in a creation and a creator can turn into false worship and false sacrifices, like when the church used to make people pay indulgences to get into heaven. Remember, people fled Europe because they were being religiously persecuted. I bring up the worldview solely to get you to understand the cosmological beliefs need a home for your existence, and not so much about how they shape your beliefs, as there are many religious people that hold a heliocentric worldview. But for heliocentrists, when you suggest anything but a spherical Earth floating through space, they can't picture an Earth without space. Space has become the home of Earth. It's almost impossible for them to imagine that it's not connected to space. But space is just nothingness. Now, what I'm going to suggest is everything you were taught about space and the globe is fake and just a theory. But as I do that, I need to replace it with something, because your mind has become mesmerized with pictures. The pictures of the earth go against reality. We don't observe a sphere and we don't observe curvature. Now remember, because some of you may have already forgotten, that we live in a spinning ball that's hurling through space, that the sun's hurling through space, and the universe is always expanding, creating space. And space is flat, the one thing they get right. So out of the nothingness is somethingness. Now this sure seems like a religion to me, the religion of science. It takes pure faith to believe this, and after you look into the flatness of the earth, you'll see that the spherical earth goes against reality. But people like this because they can't imagine an earth where they don't get to say where it came from. Now, taking a non-religious approach to cosmology is tricky. Either way, you have to use faith. So first, when it was an earth-centered existence and God created the earth, God was the creator. It was a faith-based position, but that faith was based upon something outside of myself. But that something is not a human. It's something supernatural. And if people went against this, they burned them at the stake. Now it's a sun-centered existence, and the universe just appeared. It appeared out of the Big Bang. We don't know where God came from, so instead of giving faith and trusting in God, we just trust science. This comes from man. Now man is God, the creator and the explanation of the creation. But they can't explain existence. So they're the creator of existence. But then others questioned science and studied and realized it's not science at all. Everything came back flat. All science proves the earth is flat. Sea level, maps are flat, motion's not detected. You can't see curvature, buoyancy and density. And we can't even leave the earth. So now geocentrists are being burned at the stake. We've come full circle. Where the earth exists is once again being argued. Either way, it takes faith to believe. I know you may believe in those pictures, and I know you may believe in outer space, but why? because someone told you to. You have faith in man. You have faith in science. Test your faith. Add rationality. Can you feel the earth move? The earth's supposed to be moving at 1,000 miles an hour. Can you feel it? Is the sun really 93 million miles away? It looks pretty close to me. Can you see the curvature of the earth? When you go to the beach or are in an airplane and you see the horizon, or is that the curvature of the earth? Is gravity really pulling everything into the center of mass? Why can't buoyancy and density replace your need for gravity? Hot air balloons rise because helium is lighter than air. The earth just is, and what it is flat. It's the home for your existence. For the religious, it's resting on the pillars of faith. For the non-religious, it's resting on the pillars of truth. Recently, I observed 5 wandering stars come say hi. You might know this as the planetary alignment. I observed the sun in the sky setting, and as it was setting, looking out across the west side of the East River of New York City, I could see a bright light. Then there were a couple of them. They came to me and then they left. Every night I see the moon from my chair as I stare out at the sky. Then it moves. I see the stars and the sun move too. Now this is what I observe. But I'm told by science, which is supposed to be observations, tests, and experiments to draw conclusions, that the earth is moving too. This takes too much faith for me to believe. I'm just tired of believing in fake pictures. I look out at the water and I see about 3 miles of straight flat water. I look to my left and it's flat. I look to my right and it's flat. I look until my eyes can't see any farther. I've flown across the oceans in an airplane and all I see is flat. They tell me it's round, but this goes against what I see. I know I exist because I can see, and what I see is flat. I know I exist because I can feel, and what I feel is motionless. The home for this existence is the earth, and it doesn't need nothingness to exist. It has water below and sky above, the somethingness of nothingness. I don't need to know where something came from. I don't need to understand how out of the nothingness became the earth, because I know the earth is the home for that nothingness, and that somethingness is my home. The earth is flat. It's special and different. It's not like everything else in existence. Just like you. You exist, and you're special and different.